Hi folks, I'm Cal Herron. I'm Exploration Manager for Nevada King Gold. I'm responsible also for the Atlanta Exploration Program. So far this year, Nevada King has made 5 press releases. As you go through all of these various press releases, except for the one way at the north trees, way at the north end, we see the same structural pattern. We see the same mineralization patterns. These are continuous, basically from section to section. With the 5 new press releases we've made, these all encompass drill sections that cross different portions of the Atlanta deposit, starting at the south end with section number 5, moving northward 30 meters to section 6, moving further 30 meters to section 7, and then making a big jump into the middle of the resource area with section 11. And then making an even bigger jump into what we call the North Extension target area. Now, let me explain a bit about the North Extension target, or what we call the net area. This is an area that was not included within the Gustafson 2020 resource zone, so it lies completely outside. So on January 17th, we released holes throughout the net along 8 section lines. These lines are spaced 30 meters apart, but there are gaps within those lines. So it's a much longer area than that. But we hit another big hole. The highlight hole was 9.72 grams per ton gold over 9.1 meters and an overall intercept of 47 plus meters of 2.57 grams per ton gold. This is actually the best hole that's ever been drilled up in the North Extension target zone. That gave us a good idea of what the trend of that high-grade mineralization was, so that now we have our drills set up along that trend with more drilling going on. The more high-grade hits we can make in that very large low-grade area, the more potential ounces now we can bring into this resource. We're right now on the northern edge of the main resource zone, and it's just a matter of connecting the net to the rest of the resource zone across a 100-meter gap. We will close that gap very shortly. The original footprint size was about 175 meters by 300 meters. We're now looking at an area that could well exceed 330 meters by 350 meters. We still have areas open, as you see in the plan map, to the east, to the west, especially to the south, as we head down towards the main resource zone. We're not done with it yet, and this, again, could be a game changer for Nevada King and Atlanta. On January 9th, we released results from 7 holes plotted on section 7 near the southern end of the Atlanta resource zone. Now, we drilled these holes across there because we had 2 problems. One problem was that we had gaps existed that we could not tie together. And if you can't bridge across these gaps, when you go to make a resource model, the mining engineer that puts the model together has a difficult time connecting the mineralization together. This is why on these cross sections you see so many holes drilled. You have to be able to connect this mineralization together. Secondly, some of the holes in the West Atlanta Graben area did not originally go all the way to depth. They were lost before they could get through the mineralization. This has been a chronic problem for everyone that's had to drill at Atlanta. They could not fully penetrate the mineralized zone. And if you don't fully penetrate that zone, you're going to miss as much as 50% of the gold grade, because much of the high grade exists at right along or just above that lower contact. Once you get your results back, what you see then is the grade comes up, you increase the thickness of the mineralization. You now can see the lateral continuity where a mining engineer feels comfortable drawing his lines across from hole to hole. On January 11th, we released 6 more holes that crossed the central portion of the Atlanta resource zone along section 11. We intercepted 1.93 grams per ton gold and 2.39 grams per ton over 22.9 meters. We also had 3 holes along this cross section that exceeded 48 grams per ton silver over distances ranging from 23 meters to about 46 meters. Now, silver was historically mined in Atlanta. It was originally a silver mine. Now we're talking about back in the late 1800s. But our drilling now has shown that we have very significant silver grades along some of these high angle faults, in particular the West Atlanta Fault and certain of the strands within the Atlanta Mine Fault Zone. I'm sure this is going to play an important part in the resource model as well. The central part of the West Atlanta Graben tends to be lower grade, the mineralization tends to be deeper, and the mineralization tends to be somewhat thinner. However, that assessment is based upon relatively few holes and holes that are widely spaced. So we'll have a much better idea over the next 2 to 3 months. In the 3rd week of January, we released assay results in Section 6 North. Essentially fills in a 100-meter wide gap that has existed at the southwest corner of the Atlanta pit ever since the mine closed down in 1985. We finally got some angle holes put into it. We intercepted 1.41 grams over 76 meters, 1.86 grams over 53 meters, 1.8 grams over 48 meters. Again, good solid oxide hits in these holes. This is another area where we're seeing high silver values showing up within a deposit. The latest news release focused on cross section 5 North. Got some good solid hits, nearly 2 grams per ton over 38 meters, 1.19 over 43 meters, and 1.35 grams over 21.3 meters. This shows very good consistency laterally between the holes. As we move to the west into the West Atlanta Graben, we also see good consistency too, with 1.62 grams per ton over 93 meters and 1.78 grams per ton over 62.5 meters. Again, very good solid hits, good thick, moderate grade to high grade mineralization. Between the results now along 5 North and 6 North, we're now able to tie the main Gustafson resource zone to the drilling that we did in 2021 and early 2022 at the southern end of the pit in the area that we refer to as the South Extension target. We'd extended mineralization about 150 meters to the south of the pit, but that mineralization was kind of stuck by itself on the south side of the pit. Now with these holes, we can potentially tie the Atlanta Mine Fault Zone firmly into this mineralization at the south. We have released so many high-grade intercepts, and people are saying, well, how can you keep putting out these high-grade results? Well, it comes because we have a pretty good idea of where we should be finding them. That's because we have a model that so far has been working very well for us. That model will play a prominent role in Nevada King's program going forward in 2024 as we step well away from the deposit and start looking at these other anomalies elsewhere within our large land package.